and welcome to Side by Side with Gabi. I am Gabriela Frois, and this is my opportunity to introduce you to some of the teacher educators I know and respect. Today, I'm talking to Myleni Ishida, an expert in IELTS preparation. She will share how teachers can better prepare their students for this important exam. Hello, Myleni, and welcome.
Hi, Gabi. Thank you. Thank you for this invitation.
Thank you for taking part in my project.
It's my
Can
pleasure.
you introduce yourself and share a little bit about your background and particularly your journey into IELTS preparation?
Sure. So my name is Myleni, as Gabi said. I have been teaching English for the last 11 years, and I started teaching in private language schools, but it didn't take long for me to have my own private students. And actually, I started teaching general English and business English classes because I have a degree in economics. And I think that led me to start teaching for the TOEIC, and then I started teaching for the IELTS. So it wasn't something planned, but it was just a demand from my student. She needed to prepare for the test. And after I worked with her and I saw her results, I saw that she could achieve everything she wanted, like regarding the IELTS. I was really motivated to continue. So I never stopped. And that was 7 years ago. So it's been 7 years that I specialize, that I teach. I help students prepare for the IELTS.
You,
Um,
you mentioned something very interesting because
mhm,
I always think a lot about that when I think about teaching for exams. We we that teach for exams, and I'm including myself there because I teach for the Cambridge Main Suite. We
mhm.
always talk about how, and this is in the books, in theory, and so on, how it is somehow easier to get students motivated when we're teaching for exams because they have a personal goal that has a
Mhm.
deadline.
Yeah.
So when we think about motivation, we can see that students who are preparing for exams, they have higher levels of intrinsic motivation.
Yeah.
However, rarely do we talk about the fact that our intrinsic motivation is
Yeah.
somehow in higher levels because we can also see the results more clearly, right? So,
Yeah.
do you think this is something that, I don't know, maybe retrofeeds as we work with exams more specifically? It's interesting
Yeah.
because I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Seeing the results of my work in a very objective way, like I can measure it, right? But on the other hand, I understand that this might freak some teachers out because, it's a lot of pressure, right? But I think when we start getting confident, doing that and seeing that we're doing our best and we have motivated students, and we start seeing, like you said, they see their results and we start seeing our, oh, we are just a small part in their journey. So it's really rewarding. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It is really rewarding.
Yeah.
And then let's move on to the IELTS more specifically.
Uh-huh.
At some point, you decided that you would focus your business mainly on IELTS preparation. I know you work with other exams. You can talk a little bit more about that.
Mhm.
But when was the moment in which you decided, okay, IELTS is the way to go? And how has this shaped your teaching methods?
Mhm. So I decided to focus my business on a small number of tests. So as you said, like I teach for the not only for the IELTS but also for the Duolingo English test and for the TOEIC. But the core of my business is IELTS. Like 90% of my students, they are preparing for the IELTS. And I thought that from a business point of view, this would be more practical because I would
True.
spend less time preparing the classes if I just focused on specific tests. But also, like for my career, actually, as a teacher and in a pedagogical way for me and for my career, I think it would make more sense for me to try to specialize because I think I can deliver better results when I specialize than if I diversify, you know. So it's from a business point of view, but it's also taking into account my goals for my career as a teacher. I think it makes more sense, you know, to focus on a specific number of tests. And most of my students, they want to study in Canada, Australia, or in the UK, because this
Mhm.
is where the IELTS is mostly required. So that's it. And I think I found this
Your
this teaching
niche.
context, my niche, yeah, and the
Yeah.
teaching context that I feel comfortable with now. Yeah, that's it.
And you are really good at it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, if we had to give some piece of advice to teachers who teach general English but want to adapt their general English teaching strategies to better suit the demands of the IELTS exam or of exams in general, what could you tell
Mhm.
them?
Okay, so when we change from general English to exam preparation, I think, and this applies not only for the IELTS, but for other tests as well, but it's really important, it's time management. And I talk about this not only about, for example, you have to time the activities for the listening and for the reading, writing, speak, for the skills, for the activities, but also keeping track of their students' performance because they have a timeline. Usually they have a specific, they come and they go, like they won't be with you as a teacher for a long time. So we really need to be organized in order to help them to deal with all parts of the test during that specific amount of time they have, you know. So time management is essential for the IELTS. And also when we compare the IELTS with other exams, so more specifically for the IELTS, the listening and reading questions, for example, we have 14 different types of questions in the reading, and this is something that it's different from other exams, like the exams that are basically multiple choice questions. So
Mhm.
most of my students, they come to me, they get a little bit shocked, like, wow, I have to deal with 14 different types of questions, right? So we need to help them to understand that yes, it's different from other tests, but you will be able to do it because we have a timeline, and I will help you to guide you right in your journey. So yeah, and also I was thinking now about um, adapt to the IELTS also means to get in contact with British English
Mm.
because of course, officially they say, no, we have different accents in our tests and so on. But myself, I've never lived in an English speaking country. So I got used to the British accent after I started teaching for the IELTS. And I
Mhm.
think, and that was so beneficial, not only for me as a teacher for the IELTS, but also as a
As a
person, you know what I
speaker,
mean?
right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
that is true.
if you are not used to, like I was, so this is something that you should adapt as well. And of
Mm.
course, the students will benefit from that. Yeah.
That's very nice. Yes. So
Mm.
going back to what you mentioned about the different kinds of questions and tasks, I
Mhm.
think this can also be beneficial for students in the sense that you are going to have to teach them new sub skills of listening and of reading,
Yeah.
right? So they are able to perform certain not only the task, but they're able to see things in a different way and train to see things in that different way. So I think the more questions there are, the better they will evolve in terms of sub skills, because it's
Yeah.
not only listening, it's listening for detail, listening for the main idea, listening for the general idea, listening for gist, listening for, and they
Yeah.
have to learn not only how to perform in these sub skills, but also to look at a question instruction and see, okay, this is the kind of
Yeah.
question they're asking for, and I know what to do, I got it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
this probably increases their self-esteem, their uh,
Yeah. Their
confidence,
skills
right?
in general, right? Yeah. And you were
Yes,
telling about the directions and the instructions, because when you have 14, 15 different types of questions, you have 14 different types of directions, right? It's totally
exactly,
different when you have only one type and you just ignore the directions because you already know what to do in a multiple choice test. Yeah.
exactly.
And yeah, and they get to know. I think the IELTS is a test that makes the students be more pay attention to more details in
Mm,
comparison with other tests, you know.
okay,
So that's
okay.
why I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask about students, but I think you basically clarified everything. They might struggle with accent. So,
Mhm.
and if you
Yeah.
are a teacher who is aiming to teach IELTS in the future, I would advise you to start getting in contact with different accents. They might struggle with question types, and also they might struggle with time management, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something
Yeah.
very important in exams. Anything else they might struggle with?
Yeah, so I think if you ask me, what are the the challenges, right, that the students have, I would for sure include the writing and speaking parts. And in the writing, for example, one thing that happens a lot is that the students they write as if they were speaking. So we need to adapt their style and to fit them into the academic writing style. And that includes making them aware of the assessment criteria. Because when they come to us, they don't know what that means and they are too focused on grammar and vocab. So they think I need to have a perfect grammar and vocab, and that would be my score, you know. So when we tell them that structure, task achievement, coherence and cohesion, this is like 50% of their scores, they get calmer, you know. So I think making them aware of this as well, both in the writing and in the speaking. Yes,
Hmm.
this
Great,
is
great.
important. Yeah.
Thank you. And you are about to launch a workshop for teachers who want to begin teaching for the IELTS, right? So, what can a person who takes your workshop uh, will expect to learn in terms of preparing students for the exam? What is there?
Yes, so I decided to gather all the information, the most important pieces of information that I wish someone had told me before I started teaching.
Great.
So I decided to gather tips, strategies for each skill, for each part of the test, and also tools like that are available nowadays and that help our job as a teacher. You know, for example, for the writing and for the speaking. There are different tools, not only official ones from Cambridge, but also other ones. And even the ones that use artificial intelligence nowadays, for example, there are a range of tools that we can use and that can help us like to do a better job. So, and also where to find the most this kind of information, you know. I
Mm,
decided to gather
great.
everything so people can have somewhere to start. Like that's
That's
it.
great. And you are also even going to talk about needs analysis, right? A little bit.
Yeah,
Mm.
yes. Needs analysis for the IELTS specifically. Yeah.
Yes, which is very important. So thank you, Myleni, for joining my first episode of Side by Side with Gabi.
Thank you, Gabi.
And thank you for watching. I hope you found this conversation with Myleni insightful and that it gave you some ideas to take it into your own teaching practice. If you would like to know more, be sure to check out Myleni's workshop on IELTS preparation. It will be on my website. It's packed with practical tips and strategies. Don't forget to follow me here and on the platform for more conversations like this one. See you next time.
See you.